Right, Mayor Edmonds, Mayor Amanda Edmonds.
Hi, Roy.
Hello. All right, let's get right into it. My first question is, what is Growing Hope?
So, Growing Hope is a nonprofit in Ypsilanti. We're 13 years old, dedicated to helping people grow and access healthy food. And I'm the executive director and I'm the founder of the organization. So, that's my full time job. That's where I first met you, Roy, when you were actually about 12 years old and
Oh
in
yeah.
seventh grade at West
Woo.
Middle School. And you joined our
Jeez.
after school programs and then joined our team for many years after.
All right. Now, speaking of Growing Hope being a nonprofit organization, a question from the local resident is, are there any jobs available in Growing Hope?
We're always looking for people to be interns. We're definitely always looking for people to volunteer because volunteerism is often a really good entry
Mm-hmm.
into later being hired when we do have openings. We don't have any main openings right now, but we are always open to people who are eligible to work through Michigan Works or
Mm-hmm.
through other programs like that, where that's the place that will pay you. We do always have positions open via Michigan Works.
Mm-hmm. So, what would be the difference between the Growing Hope organization and, let's say, a corporate organization like Wendy's or something, in terms of like paying employees?
Well, there are many, 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 many differences between those two. So, a nonprofit organization is an organization who doesn't mean no profit, but it's not profit like in a for profit where money goes into the pockets at the end
Mm-hmm.
of the day, at the end of the year of owners or shareholders, stockholders, etc. Nonprofit means you are a business, you are a type of business, but any funds that you're bringing in are going and staying directly in the work that you're doing, going back to your mission. So you have employees often at a nonprofit, like we do at Growing Hope. Employees get paid. We also have volunteers, so nonprofits use volunteers, use paid and unpaid interns. So a lot of creative ways, but we pay payroll taxes, we pay insurance, we pay rent and mortgage, all those same things that any other small business does. We have to balance our books. But at the end of the day, our goal isn't to make more and more and more money. Our goal is to use resources, use donations and grants and sales and things like that we have to further our mission of helping people, more people in our Ypsi community in particular, grow and access healthy food.
So, would you say that Growing Hope and versus, Arby's company, basically, would you say that you guys, when you receive money, you it does not line your pockets. It lines up the organization and the
Correct.
mission.
That's how it's
That's the
legally
difference.
defined as a nonprofit. A
Okay.
nonprofit uses funds it gets from whichever different sources to specifically carry out our mission.
Awesome. Okay, the next question here is, what are some of the steps that as mayor, what are some of the steps that you're taking to help improve the school system and possibly the curriculum? It was for a question from one of the residents.
Sure. Well, so just to differentiate, so my full time job, I've been for 13 years the executive director of Growing Hope. So that's my day job. I work about 60 hours a week doing that.
Wow.
I was then elected in 2014 to be the city of Ypsilanti's mayor. So
Yay!
my
Woo!
my night job, my side job, so to speak, I work about 20 hours a week being mayor.
Hmm.
And so I have two different jobs. And so
Wow.
I am the mayor to the 20,000 residents of the city of Ypsilanti. And one important differentiation also is that we call it the Ypsilanti broader area Ypsilanti, but I'm the mayor just of the city. So the city has Eastern Michigan University. The city is bounded on the south by 94 for the most part, on the west by about Mansfield and Washtenaw, on the east by kind of Michigan and Ecorse area, etc. So a lot of people live in Ypsi, or you say, hey, where do you live, Ypsi? But they may actually live in Ypsilanti Township, and they might actually live in Superior Township. So those have different forms of government, different elected officials, different budgets, etc. So I'm the mayor of just the city of Ypsilanti, just to kind of clarify. But to
Okay.
answer your question about the schools, so the mayor and the city government have nothing in any direct jurisdiction to do with the schools, right?
Right.
But when I was knocking on doors back in 2014 when I was running, what people wanted to talk about the most were schools. And I agree. It's
Hmm.
one of our biggest challenges in our community, one of our biggest opportunities as a community, and one to me of the main keys of our community's future. I've been personally working through my role with Growing Hope and Ypsi Community Schools since before Growing Hope started, since about 1999. So I've worked in the schools, the Ypsi district, formerly the Willow Run district, and now the combined districts for 17 years. So I've been through thick and thin with them as a program partner, after school partner, etc. So I get how important the schools are to our future. I get how important the schools are for the young people in our future to have opportunity to lift out of poverty, opportunity to go to college, and so many things relate to the schools. So while I don't have any jurisdiction any more than any other citizen does over the schools, I've been working with the schools as a partner, helping them figure out how to best use their facilities, how to engage in community school partnerships, where I can use the voice that I have as mayor to leverage, to challenge people in the community to volunteer in the schools, even and maybe even especially if they don't have kids in schools. We need all the volunteers we can get. We need all the mentors we can get. We need all the people helping with after school programs we can get. And so to me, it's my opportunity to use that voice and kind of put out that call that we are only as strong as our public schools. And that's my cat. That we are only as strong as our public schools. And right now, because of real structural deficits, which with the way public schools happen, the way schools of choice happen, the way charter schools happen, only 50% of the kids in our Ypsilanti schools catchment area, which includes all of the Ypsilanti city, Ypsilanti Township, most of Superior Township, only 50% of those kids are going to our schools. Meaning only 50% of the funding that we would need to support a school district is going to those schools. Because if it's leaving, that funding is going elsewhere where that young person is going, that state funding. So it's to me the biggest challenge that doesn't have one silver bullet, but has it's about everyone in our community leaders and citizens in every regard kind of stepping up and saying we are only as strong as our schools, so what are the ways that we need to step in. So like a really tiny thing last August and then last September on the first day of schools for Ypsi schools, I helped organize, we had 100 community members there to welcome kids, to wear t-shirts and just like literally cheer kids in on their first day of schools and saying we're here to support you, etc. Now that's a tiny thing, that's not going to transform the schools, but it's little steps like that young people and parents and teachers and principals can know this is how our community is supporting.
Awesome.